Dr. Doom, the king behind the Iron Mask. Before he was Dr. Doom, he was Victor, a child of Latveria, a son born among the persecuted Romani people, beneath the shadow of kings who treated suffering as their natural right. His father was a healer who could mend wounds but could not cure cruelty. His mother was a sorceress who reached beyond forbidden powers and was claimed by forces darker than death. From his father, Victor inherited the desire to save. From his mother, he inherited the desire to conquer the impossible. From the world, he learned that mercy without power is merely a more elegant form of helplessness. That lesson became the foundation of Doom. Victor did not grow into a man who wanted power simply because power was beautiful. He wanted power because he had witnessed what happened to those who possessed none. His family was hunted, his people oppressed, his mother's soul was taken. Every institution that claimed to represent justice had failed him before he was old enough to understand the words. So Victor made himself a promise. Never again would he kneel before another human being. Never again would his fate be decided by someone less intelligent, less disciplined, or less worthy than himself. He would become his own kingdom, his own army, his own god. The Mask of the Wounded Soldier. Dr. Doom's armor is often treated as a weapon, but mythically it is far more than that. It is a second body, constructed through will. The Iron Mask conceals Victor's face, but also transforms him from a mortal man into a symbol. Victor can be wounded. Victor can be humiliated. Victor can remember the cold, the hunger, the loss of his parents, and the contempt for those who look down upon him. Doom can do none of those things. Doom is flawless because Victor has imprisoned every flaw behind metal. In that sense, the mask does not hide scars. It declares that no one else has the right to see them. Like the veiled gods of antiquity, Doom understands the mysterious creation of authority. A king who reveals everything becomes familiar. A king who hides behind ritual, armor, and silence becomes larger than life. When Doom enters the room, the man arrives already accompanied by his legend. The green cloak makes him appear almost priestly. The armor turns him into a walking fortress. The mask gives him an still, unreadable face, that of an idol. He does not dress like a scientist. He does not dress like a sorcerer. He dresses like a ruler who believes science and sorcerer were merely two departments within his empire. The master of two worlds. Most powerful figures choose a single path. The scientist trusts reason. The sorceress trusts mystery. Dr. Doom refuses the distinction. He studies machines with the precision of an engineer and magic with the discipline of a priest. He builds time platforms while bargaining with demons. He creates artificial intelligence, energy weapons, and armies of mechanical doubles, yet he can also invoke ancient spells and walk through dimensions forbidden to ordinary men. Where others see contradiction, Doom sees incompleteness. Why choose between the laboratory and the temple when both can be mastered? This makes Doom a modern expression of an ancient philosopher king. The ruler who believes his authority comes not merely from blood, but by superior knowledge. Yet Doom takes this idea further. He does not want to understand reality so he may live peacefully within it. He wants to understand reality so completely that reality itself must obey him. Every scientific law is a lock waiting to be opened. Every magical secret is a throne waiting to be claimed. Every god is merely a powerful being who has not yet encountered Victor Von Doom. The Sacred Kingdom of Latveria. Doom's relationship with Latveria is what prevents him from being merely another armored conqueror. Latveria is not simply territory under his control, it is the physical body of his will. The land represents his deepest contradictions. Doom can be a tyrant, yet he genuinely believes he is his nation's protector. He brings order, security, and technological power, but demands absolute obedience in return. His bargain with his people is ancient. You will never be powerless again, but your power will belong to me. You will be protected from chaos, but you will surrender the freedom to create it. You will have peace, but it will be the peace of a kingdom where even the birds seem careful about what they sing. Doom does not believe freedom is the highest good. He's seen freedom used by powerful to exploit the weak and by the foolish to destroy themselves. To him, humanity's great flaw is not evil. It is incompetence. People choose poorly. Governments decay. Leaders become corrupt. Nations wage unnecessary wars. Doom's answer is brutally simple. Remove the choice. He believes the world will be safer beneath one rule, provided the ruler is himself. And the unsettling truth is that some possible futures have suggested that he just might be right. That is what makes him frightening. A man can be dismissed. A monster can be opposed. But what happens when the tyrant can demonstrate why his tyranny works? Every mythic king requires an adversary who reveals the hidden weakness beneath his crown. For Dr. Doom, that figure is Reed Richards. Reed represents everything Doom cannot tolerate. Another mind capable of standing beside his own. Reed does not merely oppose Doom physically, his very existence challenges Doom's private religion, the belief that Victor is intellectually unique and therefore destined to rule. If Reed is his equal, Doom's superiority is no longer absolute. If Reed is sometimes correct, that means Doom can be wrong. If Doom can be wrong, then his entire kingdom, his armor, authority, and identity rest upon something more fragile than iron. That is why the rivalry is never simply about scientific achievement. Reed Richards is the witness to the part of Victor that Victor desperately wants erased. He remembers the young man before the mask, the experiment that failed, and the moment Victor's certainty collided with consequence. Doom can survive physical defeat, but he cannot endure is the suggestion that he caused his own downfall. His pride therefore becomes his true prison. Doom possesses the intellect to solve nearly any problem except the one concealed beneath his armor. He cannot forgive himself, so he condemns the world instead. The son who would invade hell. At the center of Doom's story is not conquest, but true grief. His mother, Cynthia Von Doom, lost her soul through a bargain with the demonic Mephisto. Victor's determination to rescue her became one of the rare purposes greater than his political ambition. This transforms his descent into hell into something more mythically familiar. Like Orpheus entering the underworld for Eurydice, Doom crosses the boundary of death for someone he loves. Like Heru seeking to restore what was broken in his divine family, Victor refuses to accept that the powers of darkness possess the final word. But Doom does not descend as a humble petitioner. He arrives in hell as an invader. He confronts damnation with science, sorcery, intellect, and sheer defiance, because accepting his mother's suffering would mean admitting that there are limits even Dr. Doom cannot overcome. His love is real, but even his love wears armor. Doom may risk everything to save another person, yet he struggles to tell the person that they matter. Tenderness requires vulnerability, and vulnerability reminds him too much of Victor, the frightened child who once watched the world take everything from him. So affection becomes duty, grief becomes ambition, love becomes war. The man who stole the power of gods. Doom repeatedly reaches toward divine power because Godhood represents the final escape from helplessness. He has stolen cosmic energies, challenged world-devouring beings, and reshaped existence itself. When granted power beyond imagination, he does not merely want to destroy the universe, he wants to correct it, and that distinction is essential. Doom sees creation as an unfinished machine built by inferior hands. War, hunger, disease, injustice, and death are, to him, evidence of a defective management. If the gods created such a world, Doom considers their rule a failure. If destiny permits innocent people to suffer, Doom considers destiny illegitimate. His answer is not prayer, it is replacement. He does not wish to sit beside the gods, he intends to audit them, then overthrow them, then redesign the heavens according to his own specifications. Yet whenever Doom finally gains near absolute power, his oldest enemy returns. Not Reed Richards, not the Fantastic Four, but Victor himself. The frightened child, the wounded son, and the humiliated student remain inside the god. Infinite power cannot heal a wound that its owner refuses to acknowledge. Doom can remake reality, but he cannot make himself believe that he was ever worthy without conquering it. The modern psychological meaning of Doom. Doom represents the transformation of trauma and control. He is what happens when a person who once possessed no power decides that safety can only exist when they possess all the power. His ambition begins in a place that is emotionally understandable. He wants to protect himself from humiliation, his people from persecution, and the world from chaos. But protection becomes possession. Discipline becomes domination. Confidence becomes narcissism. The child who hates tyrants grows up to be a tyrant because he mistakes control for security. Doom also represents the danger of attaching identity entirely to excellence. Doom cannot simply be intelligent, he must be the most intelligent. He cannot merely rule effectively, he must be the only legitimate ruler. He cannot accept a victory unless everyone recognizes that the victory belongs to him. His self-worth depends on remaining above everyone else. That is why even his accomplishments cannot satisfy him. There is always another rival to defeat, another mystery to master, another god whose throne casts a shadow over his own. Doom is never truly pursuing power. He is fleeing the possibility of being powerless again. The tragedy of Victor Von Doom. Dr. Doom is not tragic because he lacks the ability to become a great man. He is tragic because, in many ways, he already is one. He possesses the courage to enter hell, the intelligence to challenge cosmic beings, the discipline to master both magic and science, and the determination to raise a broken nation from oppression. He could have been one of humanity's greatest protectors, but Victor cannot separate greatness from supremacy. He cannot save the earth without owning it. He cannot love without controlling. He cannot admit fault without believing that his entire identity will collapse. And so he remains trapped inside the armor he created to make himself invulnerable. Dr. Doom is the wounded child who became a king, the scientist who speaks like a prophet, the sorcerer who treats demons as political rivals, the mortal who looks upon gods and sees poorly occupied thrones. He once conquered nations, stolen cosmic power, and stood at the center of a recreated world. Yet his greatest battle has always been taking place inside the Iron Mask. The battle between Victor, the man who wanted to save his family, and Doom, the god who decided he would never need saving again.